Hey there everybody, it's Wayne D. Welcome to the website. And we're looking at Patrick Reed, hero of the Ryder Cup. Let's take a look at this wild and wacky swing, which produces great results, obviously. So I've got these two good angles off of the internet. I got some shots from the Ryder Cup too, but these are good because we can actually draw a few lines on these. May look like the camera's wrong on the right, but let's take a look at where the ball is going to go here. So you can see it's starting in this direction. If you look at Reed's feet, you can see that he likes to stand a little bit closed with the driver, and from all I haven't watched him in person. I watched him on the range a little bit, but the announcers comment that he really does like to swing and draw most of the time, so you can see where the ball is going to start. Alright, so let's take a look. Let's start with the face on view. And we're going to see a little bump to the right. If we watch the trigger movement here on the left, you see a little bit of a right knee kick, mostly forward, but what's good is it doesn't back him up. So it's a trigger, but it's quiet. I really like people to quiet down their triggers. It's usually better. You don't really want to be static, but when you start your swing, you want it to be fairly subtle so that it doesn't throw you into some awkward position right off the bat. So just a little bit of a kick, a tiny little movement of the head. So if we mark where the right knee is here, let's see how far that goes back. So we look at the amount that the right knee moved here and the amount that the left knee moved out. That's about exactly the same amount, and we can see that the right glute gets deeper. And if we watch the right leg, as far as amount of flex goes, it looks to me like it might lose a fraction at the end there, but it's still bent, obviously, but it's gotten itself really deep. Watch the left foot. Now you'll see the heel right in here. You'll see it come up just a hair, but the important thing is that when it comes up, he's still on this part of his foot here. He's not really coming up on the toe, he's coming up on the inside of the ball of the foot, and that's because of the depth. So again, if you watch the left foot here, it's going to tilt inward, and then in transition it'll move up into the front of the foot. Now, you won't find anybody with less lateral movement, and we're talking irons and driver, than Patrick Reed. So he's going to start off very conventionally behind the ball. Good grip, it's all standard. Got a slight flare of the right, tiny bit more with the left. You can see a little bit of a jog to the left. Got his right hip definitely right in the box here, very important there. He's got a little bit of movement away from the box from the left, which is pretty much what's going to happen when you load the upper body to the right that much. Got that nice classic 90-degree angle between the shaft and the left arm, at left arm parallel. The right arm is climbing, you can see it. So we can see the whole right arm. And look at the club face here, you can see the whole face. So when we get it up, let's look at the progression here. So as you would kind of expect, when the right arm carries up and back like that, you'd get the club maybe a tiny bit across the line like that. And we can see there's up to that. Now these aren't perfect lines because I think the camera's out toward the ball just a little too much, but pretty good. Now you can see the head has lowered, but only a fraction, so really not much at all. The bill of the cap stayed right out on the forehead line. Very, very solid. Now remember this movement here, and you can really tell it's starting from the right, and pretty much simultaneously the left side is trying to clear out. We'll watch it from here. So actually there's probably a couple inches of lateral here, but since he went back into himself and created that space right here, he moves laterally back into the box. Has his head drop back just a hair. And you're going to get an angle of attack that's pretty close to zero there. Look how you don't see too many drivers hit on the tour with the right heel on the ground. So from the face-on view, it would appear that the right heel is on the ground. We can tell from the down-the-line view that it's just a touch up in the air. Now, the thing I think is really as interesting as anything in this swing is the face. And I can tell you what, like, nobody gets the face quite as open as Reed. And when he starts down, what's even more amazing is that he cups the thing more right here. And when he sends the club out flatter, the face is actually even more open. So you can see it just below left arm parallel. The shaft is pretty much dead on plane here. If anything, it's a degree or two flat. But look at the face. I mean, it literally is leaning back on the plane angle. You just don't see that very much. And you can see the wrist here is still cupped, which you would figure because of the face there. Now look how nice and deep the hips are. The head has backed up a hair. And you can see why he's going to hit a draw here. The club is coming in more from the inside. But watch the release. So this is the definition of a CF centrifugal release. You can see it. The right hand is just about off the club as the club swings out to the right. But the key here is that the depth of the hips and the amount of room the right arm has. Still, you got to be a talented person to put that face on the ball like that every time with as much. You got to figure the rate of closure there is pretty fast. As you can see how much that thing flips over. But it was so open, as it goes through, it just doesn't, the face never flips over. So he's really synced up with his upper body and his lower body here. And there goes the left foot. So if you're going to twist out of the way this hard and have your left hip essentially just back where it started, as you straighten the leg, and it's going to pull back behind you, so he just lets his foot go. And why not? Bubba does it. Alright, so a bunch of cool stuff there. Let's take a look at a couple of the swings from the Ryder Cup. Now here's a shot that he hit on 13 with a 4-iron. And again, here's the pin. You can pretty much tell that he's probably a little closed here too. He's going to overdraw this one a little bit, but what I want you to watch is how the club face works here. Oh. So when I said that you won't find anybody with the face that open, if you go back in time a little bit, take a look, I'll show you. This is Mark Calcavecchia. So there's a very comparable face. And if you watch Calc, he came in more steep. And watch the release. Here's another one. I actually took this at the PGA. Hazeltine back in 2000 and whatever, 2 maybe. Look at that face. And again, as we saw with the driver, this face is leaning back on the plane, which is going to really tell the hands they got to bow down and turn over. So Calc's not trying to draw it, so his release isn't going to be as straight out. And then here's what I was talking about, the move. You can see up here what's going to happen is he's going to turn the grip and add cup to this wrist right there. So that face is not shutting down yet, and that's why it comes down so open. Now there's another swing that, when I was looking at this, it occurred to me that it was very, very similar. And it would be this one. So this is Gene Littler. Watch Gene Littler's feet when he hits the ball. You can see his toes. Both toes come up in the air, and I'll watch Reed. A little slower here, right there. So yeah. So again, without the benefit of slowing these things down, you just can't see the subtleties and the completely, the variations are just crazy. It's just so interesting how guys can be so good and do things so different. But he obviously is. He's got a great short game. His stats are good. All around, he hits the ball well. Really good putter. The thing about Reed is you'll see guys with stats kind of like Reed's, comparable, but they'll win $2 million, and Reed wins $5 million. That's when he gets into contention, he knows what to do. All right, so there he is. You know, Scuttlebutt has it that he's not the most popular guy on tour, but I bet you he just did himself some favors as far as getting his the perception of his personality probably more acceptable. You know, people will probably take to him. I think he's going to have a nice year. All right, very good.